mon trésor. Today, as usual, I walked through the fields to the river and sat in the tall grass under a grove of plane trees. I looked up to see a kingfisher drawing his feathers in the wind and admired his teal cap and orange belly. We've all been scrambling for food lately, and I wondered if he'd already had his fill. I threw in my line and waited. The sun left spectral shapes over the current as it burned off scraps of mist. A light drizzle fell, and I looked skyward, reveling in its freshness. A hawk circled, quiet as a cloud. I envy him, Jean. He knows nothing about war. His life is about freedom and appetite. An appetite appeased, which is more than we can say. I took my shoes off, felt the water rush over my toes, and tried to empty my mind of chatter. When I was a girl, I would join Antoine on his morning rounds. We'd feed the horses, meander through the orchard, and eventually end up here. I'd walk the shore while he worked the line, hoping for a big catch. He'd have one eye on the river and one on me, and there would always be a story about his grandpère, who died the day after his 100th birthday, still managing the villa. You once said that Antoine was a religious man, but I disagree. The church was an obligation, not a calling. His faith was in the land and the river that sustained it. As that thought came, I pulled in a glorious trout, then said a silent prayer of thanks to Antoine, who must have been watching. You'll think I've become feeble-minded, but it's a soothing thought to have him play guardian. At the shoreline, jonquil thrive. I remember Antoine planted these bulbs the year my mother died. This morning the flowers are a riot of yellow against the emerald grass of spring. The roots have grown in a tangle without him, and it all needs tending. I took my catch home and found Etty in the library searching for a book. He said Becker asked if I'd play for him this evening, and now, without my consent, there will be a recital. I don't mind. Weber never let me near the music room, and I long to get back to it. I let myself in and pulled back the ugly blackout curtains, opened the windows to freshen the air, ran my fingers over the marble fireplace, and imagined its gray veins throbbing inside the stone. I touched the hand-painted vines scrolling beside the window frame, brought to life by my mare's artistic prowess. I remember Belle's deft hand as she painted white flecks inside the heart of each rose, the better to simulate light. I came to life in this room. It's here that I discovered my calling. But how do I dispel the sin of what happened here? I hung a tapestry over the bloodstain, unwilling to look directly at it. I can get a bucket and wash it later, but how do I scrub out the memory of Celine's scream, punctuated by Weber's gleeful laughter? I swear I'll bring this room back, one gesture, one note at a time. The scent of lilac wafted in as I bowed my head to the music. I rubbed my hands together and prayed they still knew what to do. They're rough and chapped from scrubbing pots and digging in the garden. The cook and gardener fled to safety the week that Weber arrived. He has a reputation for cruelty, and no one has agreed to replace them. Now that he's gone, I can find someone to help. I wonder how I went from the concert hall to a kitchen drudge. My father's death, the start of a war, and an unwillingness to return to Paris with so many uniforms lining the boulevards. There are moments when I don't recognize this life and feel like a foreigner in my own home. Thank God I was here for Antoine's funeral and not in Paris when the enemy rolled in. At least we have the river and the land to sustain us. Now that Weber is gone, we can eat a small percentage of what we grow. And the music will begin again. This afternoon, I pushed all thoughts away and laid my fingers gently on the keys. Energy churned up from the instrument, and the old strength returned as I began a Chopin mazurka. You'll remember this one. You always called it that moody piece. I play it when I doubt the cunning in my hands. I imagine you in the room with me, soaking in waves of sound and smiling at the more complex sequencing. This piece is sober, almost gloomy at first, but gives way to a sunny interior, only to turn shy and pensive again. I work to wring every nuance from it, to unravel the layers flowing from one idea to the next. Anger flared as I thought of Weber, the war, and how we've all come to heal. My hands warmed with emotion, and I seared it into the notes, turned darker in this room. I played as if feeling it for the first time, that sense of what music can be, how it curls through the ear and enters the mind to detonate meaning, and how that changes in the hands of the interpreter. I imagined the composer, what his intent might have been. The best music holds a shard of truth, and I play to get closer to its source. I've never told anyone else what this means to me. It's our secret, Jean, an intimacy more precious than touch. My fingers trembled to hold the final note, allowing it to reverberate through the room and linger like a ghost. When the music ended, I looked up to find Becker hovering in the hallway. I thought he had left an hour ago, but no, there he was again, creeping up behind me. He watched as the instrument exhaled its final breath, and I was relieved when he walked away. After he left, my brother appeared in the doorway, saying it would be good to feel the house return to its natural order, me at the keyboard, and him in the courtyard, banging away at the typewriter. It is good to see him let go of his anger. I worry about him, and he hates that. I suppose neither of us were meant for estate management, and Papa knew it. Jean, remember when you asked Antoine for my hand in marriage? My heart fluttered wildly while he questioned you. He wondered how a professor would feel about village life. Of course, he knew the answer, and nodded when you said our home would always be in the city, Jean. I will give Becker his recital to keep him cooperative, but it will be you that I see beside me in the room. I play the music you love to invoke your spirit, to fill the space with memories of a better time. We can never forget who we are, no matter the moment. As I look up from the keys now, I hear the click of a typewriter in the garden. No, we must never forget who we are and what we are meant to be. Je t'aime, Maddie. The Music Room. This is an excerpt from the novel Myth of the Fireflies, written by Cara Santorelli. It and its sequel, The Villa Gerard, may be found on Amazon. The recording and video are produced by Susan Saandholland.